We are 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. Of course, we will be discussing the latest surrounding the government shutdown. Well, global markets remain shaky after China today banned certain U.S. shipping firms from literally doing business in that country. A broad-based sell-off worldwide is now spooking investors and Americans in general. To discuss what is happening with regard to tariffs and the economy, we welcome business analyst Parag Amin back here on the Live Zone. Parag, always good to see you, my friend. Welcome back to the show.
Great to see you, Guy.
All right, this is a big deal, and it's been a big deal for quite some time. What do you make of this tit for tat, if you will, between the U.S. and China?
Well, Guy, the reality is that two of the world's biggest economies are going toe-to-toe for a battle to see who is the most dominant. It's no different from two heavyweight fighters trying to see who can best the other. Unfortunately, for all of us as consumers, we're all caught in the middle between this fight between the United States and China, because not only are our economies dependent on each other, but the world's economy is also dependent on these two powerhouses, which is the United States and China. So everybody's taking damage right now.
So why do you think China has banned all things surrounding, well, let's say, U.S. shipping companies? That's a big deal.
That's right, guys. So it's a tactical move. Look, this is the chess game. Everybody's making strategic moves to see how they can harm the other to bring them to the table. It's a very similar reason as to why China has heavily restricted the export of rare earth minerals. Now, that might not mean much to the rest of us, but it is a lot when you think about what rare earth minerals are and what they're used in. They're used in everything from electric vehicles to semiconductors to brake pads to pretty much everything that we buy on a daily basis. And China controls about 85 to 90% of the rare earth minerals. They come from China. And so their restriction on that, their restriction on shipping, is all geared towards showing the world, and particularly the United States, how much economic power China has and how dependent the world is on China.
All right, Parag, I got about 2 minutes left, and I want to make sure I get to both these questions. Obviously, we are focusing on the stock market as well. And with that being said, I got to ask, is it being artificially inflated as of this point?
Well, it has been very volatile. So look, there is the fact that stocks have been at an all-time high until recently. And every time that stocks are at an all-time high, there is a correction at some point. And so a lot of times what happens is, whether it's a shipping or a tariff war or a trade war or some other kind of bad news, will cause that bubble or that artificially high inflation to drop pretty dramatically. So the timing of that is always very difficult. We have seen record highs with the stock market month after month, year after year. And so at some point, realistically, we're going to see a pretty dramatic correction.
All right, we'll end with this, and that is the end game. Do you foresee an end game sometime in the near future when it comes to these tariffs?
Well, right now, if you think in the near future, in the next 6 months to a year, right now, that doesn't seem feasible or realistic. Possibly in the next few years, 2, 3, 4 years and beyond, I think that the U.S. and China will be able to stabilize. But for now, in the near term, I think that we're all just stuck for this ride.
Yeah, and it's one heck of a ride, I'll tell you that. Yet again, we have been speaking with business analyst Parag Amin, joining us here on the Live Zone. I truly appreciate your time, Parag.
Likewise, Guy. Thank you.
All right, obviously, we have been covering all things surrounding the Supreme